It's going down like this, motherfucker.
This shit is crazy.
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was horn. Hump, baby. Shit, bet I do it over time. Fade that, nigga. Shit. Bar, bet the bar, off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog need slop Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What? You got to have vision.
Limousine, and every time I'm seen, I got to be clean.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and...
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. Loud enough. Make my shit loud.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and...
I just left a lot in this bitch. I'm finna hit the shop in this shit with some rims on it and some knocking.
You hear what I said?
Yes, bitch, I heard you. I'm pretending like I didn't.
Yeah, well, gotta get a piece of my a little like magic. Said it feels like magic.
Hey, where are the white women at?
Yes, he destroy black.
Joe Visa. He looked down, seen his feet, the nigga went berserk, killed the monkey, threw the bat out the window, start kicking that bitch in the air.
Say anyway, but I will. The way quantum entanglement works is that you can take two particles, quantum entangle them, and then take those two particles and move them at any distance in the cosmos. And let's just say, for example, if you quantum entangle two electrons and you have them spinning in the same direction, and then you take one of those electrons and you shoot that thing out 100,000 light years from the original. If you then rotate the spin on the one electron, if you modify it so that its spin changes, the quantum entangled electron at any distance will simultaneously in no time switch its rotation also, because they're quantum entangled. So these communication systems are taking advantage of this aspect of quantum mechanics that most people can't wrap their heads around, and this is what they're utilizing. It's just the new level of science that affords us the ability to communicate at any distance instantaneously. Can you?
Group of you together, you never can tell who's who. I've seen a lot of black guys, Nipsey, but you're overdoing it. My eye, plus I'm in love with a bitch I can't stand.
First you tell us that it is manly to keep your word. All right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all that the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well then, show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well then, stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a worm, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you. And if that's what you're afraid of us, then tell us that just what you're afraid of. But don't keep hiding it from us and holding this up to us, and every time we ask you for something, you give us a little bit of something, and it's all tokenism. We don't want tokenism. And there are most black men in this world that don't want charity. And yet still every time we ask you for something, you give us a little piece, a little piece. You're playing games with us. We're not children. We're big men. I've seen my father have to put up with all kinds of stuff. He was a big man. He raised a family. He went down south, and he had to go around to the back door with his wife. We're not asking for anything. We're not asking for any favors. All we want is what's ours. Now, there are many black veterans who are coming back, and they're mad. They're angry. Do you think that they're going to sit down through this? Our fathers didn't have the knowledge that we had. They sat through it. But there are other black youth that are not going to sit through it. We know about Che. We know about Fanon. We've read the books of revolution. We've listened to Mao and his quotations. We know where we stand. We're not going to sit for it. We're asking, and if we ask and we don't get, we're prepared to stand up and take it. If I ask a man, I tell a man I am hungry. I tell him I am cold. And I ask him to do something about my condition. And this man holds a loaf of bread right in front of me so I can see it, and I keep asking him, I'm begging him to please give me a slice of the loaf of bread. I am hungry. Then it is known by every psychologist that the next step in the progression is I am going to knock him upside the head and take the bread from him. I'm not going to starve to death.
I mean, TikTok. A lot of the white content creators on TikTok get all of their dances from the black content creators. I mean,
you're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deeply.
Hey, dance with me. Hey, dance with me.
Physical and mental torture. But that's all right, because we said even before this happened, and we're going to say it after this, and after I'm locked up, and after everybody's locked up, that you can jail revolutionaries, but you can't jail a revolution. Right. You might run a liberator like Harris Cleave out the country, but you can't run liberation out the country. You might murder a freedom fighter like Bobby Hutton, but you can't murder freedom fighting, and if you do the party, that they can do anything they want to us. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips that I am a revolutionary. And you're going to have to keep on saying that. You're going to have to say that I am a proletarian. I am the people. I'm not the pig. You've got to make a distinction. And the people are going to have to attack the pigs. The people are going to have to stand up against the pigs. That's what the pastors are doing. That's what the pastors are doing all over the world.
What's all that noise? Oh, that's just Dad.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama, and you.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky? You got to pray to God and tell God your rent due. Any God that didn't know your rent was due ain't God.
Some people, they feel like you almost have to sell your soul to get fame, or is it just hard work, or is it luck, is it consequence, is it?
No, most of us in sold our soul. We just called it something else.
Your lines are still open. Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
Come with baggage, just I asked Louis was on. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, that was nice.
I like that. Bitch niggas, hoe niggas, rich niggas, broke bitch. I told niggas this was on, yeah, right.
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass. And they...
I think we OD. I think we OD.
But my word, can't be my equal, I don't know what you heard.
Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the check, yeah. Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I'm coming. I hit the loot juice, and pulls up in the dude. Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I'm I hit the loot juice, and pulls up in the dude.
I guess you go to the history of European civilizations. 250 years is how long they last before they implode because of their greed, because of their violence, because of an inability to let others be, including themselves. If they didn't have brown and black people to hate, they would hate themselves.
No idea the condition that we're in, the psychoneurosis that we suffer. We suffer terrible, terrible blight. We don't know who we are. We use European names, and we just are comfortable with our condition. We really don't know who we are. We have no idea. We're captive, and we absolutely comfortable with this situation.
Do that dance, baby, do that dance, let's work it out. Do that dance, baby, do that dance, let's work it out.
Greetings. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only Galactic Daddy-O, welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. Well, that's my cue to come on in and say what's happening to everybody. So my man Lobo is on here.
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
Thank you for coming. PJ Allen.
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
Dr. Sinister.
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
And B. Brown Lee.
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
Well, you know, last week was a very good week for me, as I told you when I was on Sunday. You know, I end up 14-1. I end up 14-1 last week. So for the season, that puts me at 133-56. Yeah, 133-56 for the season. So, as you know, I'm going to get right into it. So the Packers and Lions, I am going with the Lions. The Brown and the Steelers, I'm going with the Steelers at home. I think the Patriots and Panthers and Eagles. I'm going with the Eagles. Saints and Giants. This was a hard one. Saints, they ain't really been playing good, but neither have the Giants. But I'm gonna pick the Saints right now. Maybe I got time to switch my mind, change my mind before the show ends. So I'm gonna think about that one. Jets and Dolphins. I'm going with the Dolphins. Titans and Jags. I'm going with the Titans. Vikings and Falcons. I'm going with the Vikings. Titans, Vikings, Bucks and Raiders. I'm going with the Bucks. Seahawks and Cardinals. I am going with the Hawks. Bears and Niners. I'm going with the Bears at home. Niners are kind of beat up, but we'll see. Bears ain't really been playing good, but they just fired somebody. So you know when they fire somebody, how they try to give them a win. But that one I could change my mind before the end of the show too. Bills and Rams. I'm going with the Bills. This is one that I'm gonna go with the Chargers. The Chargers with the Chiefs at home. I say the Chargers win. Cowboys versus the Bengals. I say Cowboys win their second straight game at home. So again, that's Lions, Steelers, Eagles, Saints, Dolphins, Titans, Vikings, Bucks, Hawks, Seahawks, Bears, Bills, and Chargers. So it is on wax. And so that's who I'm picking. Tomorrow night should actually be a pretty good game. But they're playing in Detroit. They're playing on the turf, which is a big benefit. I tell you, Jameson Winston really played well. I mean, he played the fool. He threw them turnovers on purpose. But actually, when they let him loose, Jameson Winston ain't really lost it. Now, the one pick six, he threw the ball late, but again, it looked like he threw it late on purpose. He was so accurate most of the game, with his interceptions almost looked like, really, really? So he played well. I'd say he played better than Watson played. Different skill set, but still very effective quarterback. Very effective, I thought. So I thought that was a pretty good game that they lost. Yeah, so that's my picks. Again, I'm 133 and 56 for the year. So that's where I'm at, baby. That's where I'm at. It was a good day. It was a good day. You know what? My wife came home. She didn't come home till late, and I started watching Auburn and Duke, and I was surprised that Duke ended up winning. Plus, well, not surprised because they was down there. I was wondering when the bad calls was going to start. So I had missed that game, but I saw that Duke upset him, which, they're going to highlight Flag all year. They're going to highlight him. And he's not bad. Again, he forces it. He'll spin into trouble. He's not used to the overall quickness. So, he makes the mistakes where he'll spin into trouble, and he'll try to beat triple teams instead of, taking the easier shot or dishes to somebody else. He's still forcing some of the plays I was seeing. He still kind of forces it. So I saw that game. I did see that game. So I want to do a quick if y'all haven't watched, the other night I was going to do Dear Satan. And so I'm going to put up there the little brief recap of Dear Satan. I think it's on Paramount or something. Peacock, it's on one of them. But basically, the little boy writes a letter. He supposedly is writing a letter to Santa. And it was interesting what they're trying to do, because they're trying to do like a pre-teen movie, like sixth grader teen movie. And, the devil is trying to get the little boy's soul. Excuse me. Try to get the little boy's soul. Another Bedazzled. Y'all, Brendan Fraser, Bedazzled. Another Damn Yankees. Whatever, I always say, whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. That kind of deal where the little boy gets 3 wishes. And then after his third wish, he got to sell his soul. So pretty touchy kind of subject in a lot of ways, to throw that devil stuff into Christmas. Again, Satan and Santa is kind of the same word. We know the real Santa Claus didn't wear, St. Nicholas wore green and white. He didn't wear that blood red. You see, the difference. He didn't wear blood red. And that's St. Nicholas is who everything is about, a Turkish dude. And isn't it funny every time they come up with a Santa like I just did Red One? Every time. It ain't that Turkish dude, it's some European coming to say that they being Santa, Satan. But the real Saint Nicholas was a Turkish dude from Turkey. So melanated. But so he goes to a what is his name? Malone, Bugs Malone, nah, whatever's his name, the Malone rapper, and the little boy gets to go on stage, and he gets to have a date with a girl he likes. So that was one of his wishes. Another one of his wishes is his boy got a messed up grill. You know, you can tell he's wearing something because he's really buck tooth with it, but he wanted the boy's grill to get fixed. And then he does the third wish, and the third wish is so his parents would get along. Now, the only sketchy part was when they have the devil go back to hell. So he goes back to hell, and you find out that he ain't even the real Satan. You know, he's just one of the smaller demons, plain Satan. And so Ben Stiller is playing Satan, devil, whatever. And I just say it gets sketchy is because they circle. I mean, they do the full pentagram with the fires around the circle and all that. And Joe Black is inside the circle. And I'm thinking that's a little much because this movie's aimed at children. No doubt. This is something that would be aimed at my daughter's age. You know, so and showing that kind of thing. And it's like, I guess there was a little bit of controversy, but I don't know. That part was a little iffy. The story was a feel-good story. You know, he didn't have to sell his soul at the end, and you know, but that part was interesting. And again, you know what I say? They always try to show Marduk, and that's what's interesting. Like even the entities want to be famous. Like the entities really want to be famous. It's uncountable the number of entities that really want to be famous, that see our television. What did they say? They said that Elohim wanted to sleep with the human girls. Well, the Elohim now want to be famous. They want to make music. They want to be in movies. And that's why you see so much of Marduk. I mean, his creature, Yadaboeth, you know, Yadaboeth, Marduk. And I know Yadaboeth is more of a lion in the books. But again, it's all one creature wrapped into one. It's the same creature, but he plays different roles. So thought that was interesting. And then now I'm gonna do Bonhoeffer. Bonhoeffer was the other one that I went to see last night. And Bonhoeffer is about the Lutheran or Protestant church in Germany during Hitler time. And it develops the character, it develops the Bonhoeffer family, and you see that his brother gets killed in World War I. And then they send him to America to go to seminary school, so he wants to be a preacher. And, you know, he learns American jazz, but also they show a point where they try to take him, he tries to go to Manhattan with one of his black friends, because apparently whatever seminary he goes to, there's a black dude in there and it's okay. They don't treat the black dude bad. So not sure about where that is in New York, but so he takes him, of course, into, you know, one of the bars, and the guy's a piano player. So, you know, he learns jazz and everything. But then what they do is they take him into Manhattan because they wanted to show him racism, and he gets a room, and then he gives his friend the key, and his friend tries to go in, and the hotel dude pulls the double barrel on him. It's like, nah, you ain't coming in here. And so he gets this is the first time that Bonhoeffer gets to look at racism. Now, remember what they said about Hitler. They said that Hitler learned a lot of what to do with the Jews by looking at what was done to the melanated people in America. So that people studied how the melanated people were suppressed in America, and he put that in practice over there. He modeled it. He modeled some of what they did to the Jewish faith people over there. So what you see is, now I knew that the Catholics was with the Nazis. Again, there's a book I just read called The Pope's Bankers, and it tells you how ingrained almost, you know, the Pope was with the Nazis. because again, what they looked at the Nazis needed to be, they were with the Nazis because the Nazis were against communism. And you know, they were against the Nazis because the Nazis was they was against communists because the communist was atheist. So they figured no matter who fought the atheists, they was gonna get back behind. So they backed the Nazis. Well, this is a little different story because this shows the Protestants or the Lutherans and how at first the Lutherans, you know, was all about God and Jesus. Well, when the Nazis took over the Lutheran church, the Christian church, not the Catholics, the Christians were like at first kind of like, wait a minute, you putting this dude above God? You putting this dude above Jesus? And so when the Nazis finally take charge, they write a new Bible. They tear down all the pictures of Jesus and everything and put up swatch stickers, put up pictures of Jesus. And so there's an internal struggle that Bonhoeffer has to do, and Bonhoeffer becomes basically an agent. And he does something petty, like he gets a bunch of money and he helps some people, 7 or 8 Jewish faith people, go to Finland, I think it is. And then he starts financing trying to kill Hitler. Now, one of his guys was supposed to kill Hitler. He had a bomb strapped to himself. He ignites the bomb. Well, he doesn't ignite it, but he turns it on. And all he had to do was hit it again and it'd blow him and Hitler up. The dude couldn't do it. So Bonhoeffer comes to America, and this is the part that's kind of stupid. He goes to America to try to get help or American support, and he goes to the black churches. And of course, the black churches, turn him down. It's like, we really, what can we do? But to me, that made no sense. Why wouldn't he have went to the white Lutheran churches, the European Lutheran churches? Why wouldn't he go there? Why would he go back to the black church and think anything could get done or they make any difference? So I thought that part was kind of weak. So he goes to America. He asks the black churches. I don't know if he talked to the white churches or not. He goes back. He goes to England, tries to recruit England because England said they had some bomb they could drop on the Nazis, which we know they didn't. So he's he's in England and his family's telling him don't come back. Well, this motherfucker's hard-headed and he goes back to the motherfucking Nazis, as Richard Pryor would call them. Motherfucking Nazis. And so he goes back, and then this motherfucker, of course, he gets captured. He's not back very long, gives a couple speeches, and he gets captured. And then they get bombed and they try to escape, and they told him, look, the war is about over. Yeah, they just bombed this camp and let us go. They wouldn't let him go. And so they end up hanging him 2 weeks before, D-Day, or not D-Day, before Armistice, before the war is over, because they hang him April 26th. The war, I think, was over May 5th. And so he died, and I guess he had wrote 20, 30 books. But it was interesting about the Nazis. The Nazis changed the 10 commandments to the 12 commandments, and one said, you must obey your Fuhrer. So Fuhrer made his own Bible, So they've always been messing with that Bible and changing it to fit the narrative. Just like we know there was a slave Bible. So, Brad Satterfield. It's very simple. So that's kind of what's happening, Brad.
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
Thank you for joining. Post Malone, yeah. It was funny. Yeah, it was kind of funny. I agree, PJ. It was kind of funny. That was the only scene that was in question. But yeah, Post Malone, that was his name. But yeah, that was the only one that would have been in question. So yeah, it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny. It was. It's cute. That's what my wife said. My wife was like, it's a really cute movie. So, she liked it. So she liked the movie. Well, let's go into the morbid news. And this is not old, but We got the morbid news, and we got Eminem's mom, who, you know, he talks shit to. I think she's from Kansas as well, because Eminem's not really from Detroit. He's from Kansas City, Kansas. But his mom's been sacrificed for, I think, the Lions. I think his mom's been sacrificed for the Lions. The rapper's representative confirmed his mother's death in U.S. media. The cause is yet to be confirmed. See, when they sacrifice, they don't tell what happened to them. They don't tell what happened to them when they get sacrificed. What does it say? The fraught relationship was mostly starkly bare on one of his biggest hits, Cleaning Out My Closet. Eminem furiously accuses her of drug abuse and neglect. Witnessing your mama popping prescription pills in the kitchen, he says, later adding, keep telling yourself that was your mom. Nelson sued her son for defamation over another one of his hits, My Name Is, but it was said her lawyer's idea and settled out of court for 25 grand. Wow. The rapper who battled his own problem prescription connected his own experience for addiction with his mother, saying, that's why I'm on, because I'm my mom, on a 2009 track. Nelson wrote a memoir titled My Son Marshall, My Son Eminem, which she said she was heartbroken over her claims about her. The toxicity in their relationship appeared to simmer over the years. In track headlights, the rapper showed remorse for some of his early lyrics. I'm sorry, mama, for cleaning out my closet. I was angry at the time, rightfully so, never meant to take it that far. They appeared to have remained mostly estranged the rest of his life. When Eminem was introduced to the Hall of Fame, she publicly congratulated him. So, you know, this was another sacrifice. I would say a Detroit Lions sacrifice. That's what would be my guess, is the Lions sacrifice. That's what would be my guess. But let's see. Here we go. That's what I would be guessing. That would be a sacrifice for the Lions. So we'll see. We'll see. It was a comedian that just died, but I lost it. I lost it when I went to her. Oh man, it is 6 above 0 up here, y'all. I mean, this shit is not joking. Check this shit out, y'all. It is 6 degrees above 0, but it feels like minus 27. Yeah. And it's only going to warm up to be 14 today. So it's going to be cold the whole fucking day. The whole fucking day. But look at this. By Saturday, it's supposed to warm up to 46. 42 Sunday. Look at this. 46. All the way from 0. How much it's supposed to warm up. But today, it's only going to be a high of 14. So it's going to be a mink coat day. I'm going to wear one of my mink coats today, damn it. I don't know which one, but I'm going to wear one of them But my storm coat, too, goes all the way to my knee. So it is cold up here. It's going to be 14 when I get off in a couple of hours. Yeah, I feel you. You know, M stepped from his cup big time. He's done it all. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you take care. Now, do you got snow? Because we really got about 1 inch of snow. I mean, it ain't on the streets. It's barely covering the grass. Now, I was going to go to Michigan, but right now they getting it. They getting thunder snow. They had, some places 10, 12 inches. A storm is supposed to hit Wisconsin, where I go through Wisconsin. I don't go, especially this time of year. I had a friend, she said she going to go up north and go, go through Wisconsin and come down through the UP. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. They got a bunch of snow up there, but she said she has some business up there, so she had to go that way. But that was my plan. And then, of course, it's not enough time to get a flight. But again, I don't know if I want to go in there with the way it is. Oh, and we had killer winds today. Them cross-line winds. We had 15, 20 miles an hour. What did it say? 17 miles an hour winds. We had high winds all day. My female cat, she was freaking out. She was freaking out. So, because my basketball coach, the court is going to get named after him. And so that's why I was going to go home. But now with the weather, so I don't know unless I can catch a quick flight still book a quick flight. I might still go. I don't know. I don't know if I want to go with the weather like that. Oh, so we'll see. We'll see. El Dragon, Amaroon Khan, and the Calm. Thank you for joining.
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
So, who is this? More morbid news. Somebody named former world record holder. Is this Ike Waluda, age 55? This is different pictures of Waluda. This a guy? That's no. I guess that's a guy. I don't know. I can't tell. It looks more like a guy there. So, while his career included gold medal at the 96, Atlanta Games, European Championship. Okay, I guess he is a girl. Wow. During the peak of her powers, recorded astounding 41 straight wins in major competition, with the streak running from 85 to 91. Man, that's a tough-looking girl, boy. That is a tough-looking woman. Whoa. Say following. Wow. Okay. The story. What happened? What happened? Why did they lose their legs? Okay. 41 straight wins. What happened? Following her career, able-bodied athletes contacted syphilis infection in one of her legs, leading to an amputation. So she was in the Paralympics, maybe. I had a choice between losing my leg or losing my life, so I chose to live. Pain had become a part of me following the infection, multiple failed surgeries. Damn. Following, why do you experience a new draw in her athlete career, competing in the 212 Paralympics in London? Okay, so she found a way to keep going. Oh, didn't mean to click on him, so. Oh, well, sorry to hear you're gone and you had to suffer like that. That sucks. That sucks. That really sucks. Well, look like you had you did it till you were satisfied, so. News commentator and Dr. Kelly. Wait, what was that one? Who was this? More morbid news. Fox News commentator and Dr. Kelly Powers dead at 45. Fox commentator and Dr. Kelly Powers died Sunday. I think I did this one already. Lengthy brain cancer. Wow. She suffered various health complications. Wow. Kelly Powers was a wonderful, strong woman. We would text each other about our brain struggles. Wow. Tears. Okay, this is her. Powers regularly appeared on the Fox News Red Eye. She also had led segments on Fox Business. Began her career, Powers was an accomplished pediatric surgeon. She attended New York School of Pediatric Medicine, residency at Georgetown and Boston University. All right, this is the chick. Sorry for you and your family. And she was only 45 years old. Damn, 45 years old, y'all. That is... That is tragic. We're sorry to hear about that. Oh, well, they got magic on here. Oh, Shaq. More Shaq. I think we got enough Shaq. I think that's all. I think that's all of the morbid news today, y'all. Some dude named Marvin Land. And that's Bernadette Peterson. Collaboration, film and concert with Bernadette Peters, Barbra Streisand, and Liza Minnelli. Broadway film and concert music collaborator of Bernadette Peters, Barbra Streisand, Liza Minnelli, Beth Midler, and many more. A prolific, he was 85, a little older than my mother. Oh, he was even with Diana Ross, Joe Gray, Cass Elliot, Dusty Springfield, and Goldie Hawn.
My beloved Marvin had impeccable style, delicious sense of humor. He wrote dance arrangements for Breakfast and Tiffany's in '66, conducted Gypsy in 2003 with Peters in the starring role. I think Gypsy Rose Lee. Played keyboards in Hello Dolly revival starring Miller. He composed for Dynasty, Quincy, and A Different Approach, among others. He was a big musical collaborator in the 60s through 2000. All right, we never heard of this motherfucker, but I've heard a little of his work, so okay. Sorry to hear about that, but you know, for just sipping the drink and you still got to be 85 is not bad. Not bad. Oh, and I just found out they fired A&T's coach, my college coach. They fired his ass. He won one game in 2 years. So yeah, and they had given him some guaranteed bread. So somebody stepped in and said, "Fuck what we owe him. We cannot continue with him." The way it sounded like they need to fire the athletic director too. But because they went 0-8 in conference play. So good riddance. Good riddance. Hope they get in somebody. Somebody was saying Dwayne Pee Wee Board that played for San Francisco, but he ain't never recruited. You know, it's a different game when you got to recruit. And the game is like what a lot of people argued about the NILs was how are the smaller colleges going to compete with the bread? I mean, you got to think of it as 1-star athletes all the way through 5-star athletes. And so all of them is going to demand bread. So what you got to do is the best, and what they did before, be the best at recruiting players that fit your system for one and can compete in the conference. That's what you have to do. You have to build not for black colleges anymore or historical HBCs, whatever you want to call it. You've got to look in your conference and you've got to build from there. It's like the coach the coach from the Minnesota Gophers, when he left Western Michigan University, he knew he had to have them big, beefy linemen. And you see the California teams is going to change into that eventually. But you see all these big, beefy linemen in the Big Ten because the Big Ten runs a lot. So that's what the cat did. He got all them beefy linemen. So it's a different game if you have not recruited from high school talent, nor do you have the networking system to branch out to these high schools. That's what a lot of people don't understand. And you got to have, you got to be able to sell yourself and sell your system to parents. And, now you need alumni to drop off that bread. And that it hasn't changed anything. The colleges with the most money going to get the best athletes because they dropped the bread, which they was kind of doing before, So being from Michigan, how is the UP? I never been and always wanted to since I'm from there. I have only been up there to see Mackinac Island. I went on the island. I caught the ferry over, spent a couple nights on the island. I've been to Mackinac, the city Mackinac, where they had the fort, where the Indians tricked the British into coming out and opening their fort up, and then they went in and killed all the people in the fort. So I've been to that Mackinac, been over to Superior. No, what is it hit Michigan when you go through Superior? So I've been to some of that over there, more on the west side of the UP, but I grew up in Kalamazoo. So, and then I lived 20 years in Battle Creek because that's where my father had lived. So I grew up in Kalamazoo, and then when I went back to Michigan in 85, I lived in Battle Creek for 20 years, basically. So not a whole lot of time in the UP. The island is worth going to. There's no cars on the islands, just bikes and shit, but it's beautiful up there, And I've been up to Duluth and seen Lake Superior, but again, that's the way you can go to Michigan you can go to Duluth. You go through, I think it's Superior, Wisconsin, and then you keep going and you run into the UP. So, and let's see, this is it? No, I don't think that's it. So it's cool. It's it's okay, but it's like no place in the wintertime. One of my cousins is in the Navy in St. Ignace, and he was saying how cheap his house was. But I'm like, how long is your house buried in snow during the wintertime? He's like, well, yeah, you have to get the big tractors and stuff to get yourself out. You might have to do your street. I'm like, yeah, I don't want all that. I don't want all that. Because there's an air base, big air base at St. Ignace. St. Ignace. St. Ignace. Matter of fact, when I had a contract with the Air Force at the air base, the pilots flew the Warthogs. If anybody knows what the Warthogs, they're the old type of they're called the tank killer planes, but they used to fly almost every day to St. Ignace. Sometimes they'd fly to St. Ignace, then they'd come back. Sometimes they'd fly and stay down there. So and that was during the Gulf War One. You know, they was always trying to get me to join the Army. They was like, we'll send you right to officer school with your education. I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to do that. I was in my early 30s then. I'm like, yeah, that don't sound like fun to me. Not at all. You get to see the world. I don't want to see that shit. There's nowhere I want to go but South America and Mexico. That's it. The rest of that shit, I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to go nowhere else but the Americas. That's all I care about. That's all where I'm grounded to. Don't want to go nowhere else. Don't want to go to Africa. Australia seems, but it just takes too damn long to get to Australia. Seems like a nice place to visit, but takes too long to get there. So 20, 30 hours, 20 hours in a plane don't sound like fun to me. I go crazy after 2 or 3 hours in a plane. I'm like ready to get out that motherfucker. So that's how I feel about it. What does it Kendrick Lamar say? That's just how I feel. That's just how I motherfucking feel. I don't care about a lot of that shit. You guys think Deion is going to go? I don't think he's going to go to the Cowboys. He got too much control. He'll lose a lot of control. I think Deion's going to stay. And they're already talking about getting him an extension, so I don't see Deion leaving. And they just signed the top quarterback out the country. They just signed him, so Deion is going to be okay. Jesus Save, thank you for joining.
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
Oh, this reminds me. Let's see. Now, let me show this shit. This ain't what I wanted to show. But of all the cool shit, and I already gave my breakdown of Gladiator, and I think I told everybody it didn't give a poster out. So when I went to see Bonhoeffer, they had Gladiator posters. Now, of all the cool posters in the movie theater, look at the bullshit they put on their poster. You know, I collect these. This is the bullshit. Of all the really cool scenes and things from the movie, the posters was better than the movies. I mean, the big posters in the movie theater. This is what they came up with. This bullshit here. This is their poster. The paper is okay quality, but of all the cool pictures when you went in the theater, it was rounded. The poster is sorry as the movie. That's what I would say. This was a replay of the first movie, but this is the poster that they didn't give out when the movie, because I always go to the premieres. Oh, and one more thing about Bonhoeffer. They starting to tell that lie again. They starting to tell that lie, trying to say Jewish faith people, was 6 million Jewish faith people getting killed, because a lot of times they was getting checked by that. So they quit saying it. Then they dropped the number to 3 million. As I've said before, I found some paperwork back 13 or 14. I think before my first channel came on. And it showed a census of all the Jewish faith people in Germany. And it was less than 500,000 people. It was less than 500,000 people of Jewish faith. And this was including Russia and everywhere. It was only about 500,000. So how from 1918, 1919 to the 1940s, where did all the people come from? So they, And not gonna say if it happened or not, but I'm saying, why do you need to overwrite your numbers? Why do you need to exaggerate your numbers still today? Because I don't, it's like they're still trying to convince people, feel sorry for us because this number here was so large and they killed so many of us. So that was at the end of the movie when they was telling about him. So I wanted to throw that in there. But yeah, I didn't buy anything. I bought a couple of suit coats because, even though I'm not a Mason, sometimes you got to wear suits to certain places, just really nowhere. So was able to get a couple suit coats. We got a consignment store. So I got one suit coat for $30. That is a Antonio, but no, what is his name? Mark Anthony. And the other one is Calvin Klein. Yeah, like a Calvin Klein coat that I got for $14. But they match, and I had a pair of black, and it's black, and I had a pair of black pants already, so I got a suit like that because I got the pants at that same store, and the pants was brand new, and somebody just turned them into that place. So got a suit for pretty cheap. That don't look cheap, and that's the thing is my thing is all about bargain shopping, getting deals. Oh, my daughter's shirt came in. Oh, it's behind me. Yeah, that black package. I didn't open it. It's her polo sweatshirt that she said that she'd wear. So that came in. It's that black package, right? Haven't opened it. How do I point to it? Right there. I haven't even opened it. So that's the only new gear I got this week. Didn't really get any gear. I got some gear coming, but at this point, didn't buy any gear. Too cold to go out to the outlet. Nothing really, just shopping, just, Christmas shopping at this point. Oh, how many losses? Let's see what they say about Russians. Because every day it's anti-Russian, it's like Cold War shit again. Let's see. Russian forces suffer unprecedented daily loss in Ukraine. Look at that. That motherfucker got a silencer on it too. The Russians are losing up to 1,500 soldiers in a single day, according to findings by the BBC and Medaznia. This marks the highest level of losses since the beginning of Putin's military invasion of Ukraine. Unfortunately, this does not indicate Russia's war efforts are halting. The findings by the BBC and Medaznia, presented by the portal of the Moscow Times, reported in November the Russian army was losing 1,500 daily, including dead and wounded. This is the highest level since the beginning of the war. This can be attributed to the intensification military activities allowing the entire front line. For comparison, in October, around 150 soldiers were losing lives, according to NATO calculations, so they don't really know. If in November, the personal losses were 1,500, according to Alliance calculate. 3 of them died as a result of military action. Now, how did the other 1,200 die if only 1,500 died as a result of military action? The military, the British military defense has its own estimates regarding Russian losses. According to the department, in September, the average losses of the Russian army was about 1,200 dead and wounded. At that time, it was the highest rate since the beginning of the invasion. The previous record was in May of 24, when the Russian army attempted to launch offensives, averaging about 1,262. So what was the other number? The British ministry calculated total Russians since the beginning of the war. According to the department, the invaders have lost 600,000 men. Wow. The invaders have lost as many as 600,000, with 200 dead and 400,000 wounded. Half of the later are unfit for service. The Pentagon presented data casualties, which 150 are dead and 500,000 are wounded. Claim that the number of dead was 130,000. Wow. And the wounded was a similar number. Wow. See, the economic calculate estimate of losses, Ukraine was said to have been between 60 to 100,000 soldiers killed and about 400,000 wounded. Damn. stated that the number of fallen Ukraine soldiers less than 80,000. Wow. The Wall Street Journal this year, 80,000 Ukrainians and 2,000 Russians have died. The enormous loss of the aggressors not yet changed their mind. Damn. War. Huh. What is it good for? Nothing. It is good for nothing, y'all. It is good for nothing. Oh, yeah. And this, everybody saw this. I wonder if they're going to show it, where this United Healthcare dude got offed. Dude offed him with a silencer. Dude rode his bike. They're gonna show the highlights. Here he is. Rode his bike up into him, popped him. And, I mean, this was a hit. And reading about it, they were saying that he had a budget to have bodyguards. And as you know, they're not showing it, but if you see, he was walking by himself. He was walking by himself, and this dude, he shot him in the back. You know, he did the old Western, shot him in the back, but dude didn't pay, to have any bodyguards. He was by himself, and then got away on an electric bike. So this was a hit, like a mafia style hit almost. If you think this was a very expensive, very well planned out, he knew where to get him. He knew what time. So they had a lot of eyes and ears on dude. They were probably taping him in his crib. And so, yeah, they wanted him. They wanted him pretty bad. So, not sure, why he would be a target, but eventually, it's going to come out why he was a target. But that is European shit. Or white people shit, as Sly would say. Because that ain't got nothing to do with brothers, Ain't no brother didn't like him or put the hit on him. We wasn't that mad at him. I guess he might have denied somebody's health care, so they went off on him. And it's funny, all of a sudden they're getting rid of diversity and equity. And the sad reality about America is that without those kind of safeguards, we are not included. Melanated people, I mean, it's not really changed. Now, I'm a Trump supporter, but it ain't really changed. And then to say, to say, you don't want critical race theory taught. Again, it shows European shame. They don't want European shame to be taught anymore, which is the truth. This country was taken over by a bunch of murderous bullies or imbecile psychopaths. The most melanated people in America are prisoners of war through colonization. That's our language and the way we think. All comes from them, from the British. And it's funny, the Spanish was in America's first, but from the British. And we see the Spanish influence is still Europeans, Spanish Europeans, and people forget that Spain took, Spain did not have South America and Mexico very long because Napoleon beat them in 1700s when he defeated Spain. So then he got all of Mexico, sent one of his who'd they send over here, and he got killed. The one that they was losing the war and sent him over. Maximilian, what was his name? So, and so, it's we can see the effects that it's gonna have for 4 years. Really two, because of the midterms, things could be changed and then a stalemate. If people flip the House, flip the Senate, then it's a stalemate after 2 years. Everything is a stalemate. So, things haven't changed. As much as it has changed, things really ain't changed that lot. Subtle racism has never been, never gone away. And that's just the subtle shit. It hasn't gone away. And it's like, I meant to clip my man. I'll try to clip it tomorrow. But it's like he said, it's like when you was looking at it, you have to think of like every day you have to deal with a racist, and which racist do you want to deal with? All the companies is racist companies. So, which racist company do you want to deal with? Because, they don't look at, I mean, the psychological thing that was put on Europeans is they don't really look at us as prisoners of war or conquered people. It's more of we're a nuisance. We're looked at as more of a nuisance to them. And woe is me. We are, and then that gets into like, if there's a being that created this, as I said the other night, if there's a being that created all this, it's a black being. Because I can't think of her name. PJ, no, her name is MJ. Like MJ would always say, you have to look at the opposite of things. And that's what I think is we look at the opposite. It was black beings that took over this, but yet they elevated the Europeans for some reason. They helped the Europeans. At some point, it appears like Europeans had help with certain technologies. Again, when the Vikings came to America, they got defeated. When we had the same technology as them, we defeated them. That's why they didn't stay around. Their asses got kicked. So what was it that even though the Europeans didn't invent gunpowder, how did they ever come up with the guns and shit? I mean, you can see that somewhere they were given an advantage over civilization. And it makes no sense the way they say it all happened. That makes no sense at all. That their technology just was that much greater. When we know it was boats from the Americas that also, they want to say Massa's brother came from Africa in a wooden, in a reed boat. Well, we know that even in Van Sertiva's book, they talk about dudes who made it over to Africa from America. A lot of them died, but they talking about the type of boats they had when they came into Africa. So they knew it was possible to use the boats to come over. And then again, the northern route had been known. To go around Iceland, Finland, go around that way was known. It was an easier route too than trying to go straight across as they try to tell you Columbus did. And it's very likely Columbus went around too. Because it's just almost impossible for even ships today to go to certain parts where they say Columbus was able to take 3 wooden boats. So, but that's what it seems like. It seems like it's a group of individuals that would be considered Negroes that run all this. But again, what's it's easier to not be looked at as, there's always an enemy or always a face of wickedness, So that's what part of this seems like. And it's funny when you hear people that never have really been real sports people try to identify sports. Just like talking about when they was talking about the flag and stuff. I guess you didn't remember when Baker Mayfield put the flag down after beating Ohio State. Remember that? That was back in 2017. Yeah, you didn't know about that, huh? And then when Terrell Owens, remember Terrell Owens took the ball after getting a touchdown, he ran to the Dallas Star, and then the DB hit him and stuff. So that shows that some people didn't always like that kind of thing. But as I pointed out, and I talked about the University of Minnesota with the Paul Bunyan Act, you get to act like you chopping down the goalposts. Everybody symbolizes that, and they all get a turn. So it's not that big a deal. But it's not unprecedented either. It's happened before. Now, if anything was fixed, is them to act like they was mad over it. I think if anything was fixed, that's what it was. It was like, well, if this happens, fight them. Because usually they don't fight like that. And that it makes me think it's fixed. For the fight is fixed is because no one got in trouble for doing it. No one's in trouble for. And number 33 starts for Ohio State, and he's the one that grabbed the flag the first place. So you'd have thought he'd have been one disciplined. But again, when it talks about that bread, that's why I still wonder, like what's in store for Ohio State. I'm wondering if they're gonna let Ohio State fuck around and win. They can suffer that loss, but unless Ohio State wins, that coach is definitely getting fired. So it would not surprise me they got things set up for set up to win. Like I'm looking at this, it's like unveiling 50 Cent's car collection. Why is it always, they want you to count somebody's pocket? Yeah, and Boza was terrorizing his ass when the 49ers and Browns played. Yeah. Yeah, so it's nothing new to fuck with. It's nothing new to do that shit. Nothing new to do that shit. So if anything, the fighting is new. That's what's new is the fighting. So if anything was scripted, they told them to fight after the games. So that's how everybody would do it is they, hey, if they plant the flag, not even then, just it's like I said, the egghead man in the room it's always a mobile thing. So it's like, hey, how these motherfuckers fight if they plant the flag? Somewhere it had to come that anger, especially after you done got your ass kicked for a class. 4 years straight, you done got your ass kicked by Michigan. Twice at home. And so, just shows you. To me, it seemed like it was planned. The fights was planned and fake, trying to get ratings. That's all. Like how many people really follow basketball enough until March Madness, and to me, to make the proper the proper picks, you got to watch these games, to see how they're going to fix it. So you got to watch these games. Boy, this is one ugly woman. You can put all the diamonds on this wrinkled up ugly. She was an ugly young woman. Now she's an ugly old woman. And he dropped Diana for this creature. In what world where you would want this creature instead of Diana? I mean, this woman was ugly when she was younger. She was ugly. And why would he want her? I mean, I guess it's different strokes for different folks, but look at pictures of her when she ugly. She's young. This chick was always an ugly chick. Charles, with them Dumbo's ears, ain't a very handsome man either. He got them ears like Dumbo. So he ain't a very handsome man either. He was lucky to get Diana. Well, they were related. She was a distant cousin. Trying to keep that blood in. So, I ain't have a lot in tonight. I wasn't going to go too late anyway. I don't know. I think Richard Pryor says it's best. It's hard enough to be just a human being. And any kind of race thing is demoralizing. And I'm not saying victimization, because I don't like certain motherfuckers. I think I'm probably one of the most racist motherfuckers you ever come around. You hear the way I talk. You know who I look at as the enemy. What he say? You my enemy when I want my freedom. You my enemy. Ain't that what Ali said? You my opposer. You my opposer. That's what Ali said. You my opposer when I want my freedom. You my opposer when I want to practice my religion. Diane got with a melanated man. I believe that's what. Well, they said she was pregnant too. They said that not only did she get with him, they said that she was pregnant by him. So that was a hit. I mean, definitely a hit. They harassed them. They knew the driver drank, and they harassed them to cause the accident. Because people, let's not forget that 300 they had. I think it had bulletproof windows. It had extra reinforcement. Like S classes, it's pretty hard to get killed in the S class, even back then. Even back then, it was pretty hard. They were pretty solid cars. And I think you're talking about like a 99 or 2000. Let me see, Cameron, it was before 98, 99, somewhere. But those cars, even back then, were solid enough to, and they say that she didn't have her seatbelt on, but there was rumors that she was alive in the car, and then she ended up dying in the hospital. So, and it's like he said that, she didn't know how to do it and she didn't know how to give him head and stuff. But I mean, if she was a virgin like you picked out, that was the perfect thing for a pimp. A pimp would be like, hey, I'm going to mold her into what I needed. I'm going to mold that thing just like I like it. That's what most pimps do, but you could tell he was a lame. Well, she knows how to give head better. Well, you teach this young girl how to give head better. BMW had a steel trunk that he called it bulletproof. Yeah. Yeah. So her car was really, there was no way she should have gotten killed in that car. No way. But you could tell, Dumbo Ears didn't have any pimping in him, and he kept wanting to go back to a married ugly woman. Not only was she ugly, she was somebody else's ugly woman. And I die for you. I need you. You're reading some of them weird ass letters he wrote her. They posted and shit showing that he had been cheating too. It's like, man, get the fuck out of here with that Dumbo ugly mug. It's funny. It's like the wedding and all the pageantry is cool until you're alone with that weirdo looking motherfucker. I know she had to look at him back then and see them Dumbo ears and that thing. Damn, this nigga got some big ass ears. I know she had to think about it like that. So it's just the funniest stuff, y'all. It is just the funniest stuff. What they show us, And it's like looking at this Jay-Z bullshit. It's always about what is it? Celebrating Jay-Z's momentum legacy on his 55th birthday. Always niggas gotta be celebrating. Jay-Z tops Forbes greatest rappers of all time list. Okay, why? Jay-Z to release new coffee table book highlighting his career and achievements. Okay. Love some Jay-Z book. Like, who's buying that shit? Well, honey, we got to go out and get that brand new Jay-Z book, and it's his highlights in his career. Who would want that shit? Come on now. That's a coffee table book. Who would want it? Pictures of this nigga. Get out of here with that shit. Where is I saw it earlier. Let's see. Weather, learning, shopping, health, travel. Let's see. Where we at? The U.S. dollar to Japanese yen is 149 yen, I guess. That ain't what I was looking for. Ooh, Dick Sports is 211 a share. Ooh, not bad. Where was gold? Oh, here we go. I know gold was down, but look at this, y'all. Gold is still up to 2,600. And Ethereum is at 3,800. We've seen Ethereum go up almost $1,000 if you've been paying attention. And where is General Motors is up 53. Where's my Ford? No Bitcoin. I know Bitcoin's around 97,000. Let's see. Bitcoin is over 100,000, y'all. Over 100 million, excuse me. Yeah, 100,000 a share. Bitcoin is 100,000 a share. And it wasn't that long ago you could have bought in 6,000-7,000. Just think if you'd have bought one share for 6,000-7,000 and how much it rose. If you'd have bought that one share and just threw all your money in it, look how much. Because remember, this had dropped down to 2,500 at one time. But last time I was on it, remember, it was in the 9s. So it shows that, you can put your money in shit and this shit, I think gold is, more practical than Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin could drop any time, and gold really is going to keep its value mostly. It's mostly going to keep its value. I'll get sleepy. I took some meds before I started. So, yeah, I'm not going to go very long tonight. Just want to come on here and really get that off. Guess I'll give a few words of inspiration. It's hard, living 63 years and seeing how the country is, living through segregation, living through the golden time of the Carter years when there was true cooperation between everybody. We saw another cooperation between everybody right before OJ was convicted. In the first live, what do you call it, reality TV show was the OJ trial. But it was like every time, we see like we had the beautiful time of Jimmy Carter, 76 to 80. And then you had Reagan come in them 8 years where everything was kind of turned back. They had people going at each other again. Then we go into the early 90s where people are kind of getting along again. Then they throw that OJ Simpson at us. I mean, do you see the ebbs and flows of how they try to do the hate? And this is all done by, again, the colonizers. It's all done by them again. The ebbs and flows. It was just like, COVID was forgot. When that Floyd shit hit, COVID was completely forgot. Nobody cared about COVID. It's like, fuck them masks. Go out there and raise hell in the streets. Now, they say, well, compared to other countries, that this one is the best. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the American lifestyle is all we really know. We look at other places as pretty barbaric and backwards, being from America. That's kind of how we look at things. When we look at others' ways of life, it doesn't appear like life is better in France. It doesn't appear like life is better in Germany. Niggas can't live in Russia. I don't think niggas want to live in Russia. And so what we're accustomed to is this colonizer's way of life here in America. That's what we're used to. Where, we've got to work with the white supremacists everywhere. There's nothing supreme about them, but it's like everything comes from that kind of thought. All the businesses you got to do is that kind of mindset. You got to deal with these white supremacists no matter what. You some of you could be working with one right beside you. You never know. And that get going again in the election. Which white supremacist did you want to work for? The fake white supremacist that's pretending to be a sister, or Trump that's, he's white supremacist and says he's white supremacist. Which one did you want to choose? Kind of not a, I mean, it's like, like you said, bad choices either way. Isn't that what they're saying? Hillary Clinton and Trump, it was bad choices either way. And why is it every time, the election cycle comes, it's a bad choice either way? What's the less of the bad choice? Oh. And that's what's resilient about melanated people. No matter what happens, we still learn how to survive. And not only learn how to survive, thrive. Thrive in this tough times. Because I've said before, if things were equal, we would have surpassed them. There's no doubt about that. If you look at all that was contributed to society, a lot of these things is invented. A lot of brothers did. And if the brothers was able to keep those, and I'm saying the same thing for Europeans. If Europeans was able to just keep their inventions with themselves, and if we was just able to keep our inventions, they wouldn't have been that far apart. Given no sabotage, allowed, and let our patent our own things. We didn't need the feds to patent shit. Should have just give out, broke up the country a long time ago and say, y'all get that part. And truly been like different countries inside of this country. But we were tricked. We were tricked into integration. Integration was a trick to not spend our money with each other, to spend money with other people, to spend money with the European. That's what integration was, to learn and think more like the European by going to their schools. I mean, yeah, if even if it was a black school, it was their curriculum, but at least you learn more of unity by being and learning with your own people. And again, I've talked many nights about the fighting and the rioting that integration brought on. It wasn't easy, it was forced. It was forced on both sides. Both sides were forced to integrate. You just got pictures of them acting worse. Spitting on people. Now they don't want the grandbabies seeing them spitting on people. But, We're a resilient type of people where no matter what, we're going to survive. And not only that, we're going to thrive. And we're going to find positive things in our lives to make us joyful. And that's all it really needs to be. Positive things in our lives to make us joyful. Because you live a joyful life, you keep your vibration up here. That's what it is. You treat people decently, you know. That's why you want a little bit of that demon in you, because you never know when you have to go off on somebody. But that's just the way it is sometimes. You're not gonna get along with everybody. And remember, what was that thing I saw? 8 out of 10 people is agents. Out of melanated people, out of 10 melanated people, 7 or 8 of them is probably agents. So you don't know who you can trust. I've met some agents that is hellified agents. I mean, it's really a trip, They'll do anything to kiss a European's ass. There's a lot of them, and I'm sure a lot of y'all out there have ran into that too. Them Uncle Toms, as we used to call them. White man's nigga, as they used to call him. But Uncle Tom has said it perfectly, It's like they always want to say nigga on TV, but how often do you see Peckerwood or Hunky, Redneck? How often do you see that kind of thing? You don't see that kind of thing on TV very often. Only time I saw somebody call him, what did he call him? Redneck Peckerwood was a World War II movie, or excuse me, a Civil War movie. The dude who played a man called Horse called the dude the Civil War movie, said, something you redneck Peckerwood. That's what he called him in the Civil War movie. It's like, damn. But you don't hear that often, huh? They want to say nigga before they say those kind of words. But it's about pride, about how you carry yourself and how you deal with people. And just because you got to deal with the racists, that ain't going away. That ain't going away. You still got to deal with them. They still got to deal with us. And if you know your shit, it don't matter how they think about things. If you know your shit, because if you have, if they see value in you, then they use you. They'll work with you if they see value in what you do. And so that's the key, is to show value. As long as you showing value by doing your job or whatever the fuck you provide, that's what they go by too. That green is, they like that green. If you can make them green, they like that. Or you can be productive. They do like that kind of thing. And it's funny how so often they want to call it victimization. Oh, you're just a victim. Well, I mean, we lost the war and we're turned into prisoners. So yes, we never weren't victims. We admit that we victims because yes, you took over our country by military force, murder, intimidation. I mean, hell, you hated each other so much that you killed 500,000 of each other. That's how much you just didn't give a fuck. You killed 500,000 of each other during the Civil War. And they'll never do that again. You can believe if when they talk about Civil War, they ain't talking about killing each other. And if I said many times, when you look at all the immigrants, it seemed like, they was making new niggas and wanted everybody to hate them. And then somebody was going to back them. Because that's what they do, is they back both sides at the same time. So that's what it appears, that they're doing. When they talk about the gangs that's running free in some of these cities, somebody's protecting them. It ain't hard to arrest these immigrants as they make out. It's easy to arrest them. Again, they put them all in the same areas. And so when they go to cities, they got to go into areas where their people are. So it's not hard to catch people if they really want to catch them. So any kind of control they have over a neighborhood or apartment building, that's allowed. probably even help them do it. That's the dirty tricks department. So the TV part is just propaganda. But in reality, they want them to terrorize people. And they're terrorizing people probably with their help a little bit too by turning their backs on. Oh, they're not terrorizing shit. When all along they're helping them terrorizing. And, it's just like what was done in the 80s when they leaving guns on the train tracks during the dope wars. Chicago and LA. In numerous cities, people talk about that. Again, in LA, Kill the Messenger, in the book, he talks about a cargo or a crate, a big semi-trailer full of guns. It sit there for weeks and then people broke into it. It's full of guns. Chicago cats talk about guns being left on the railroads in barrels on the sides of the tracks. Just guns. And the killings in LA in the 80s was definitely had a military fingerprint on it. Just like they try to say so many people getting killed in Chicago. Well, that had military print on it too. Our military is the most efficient killers in the world. These imbecile psychopaths are the greatest imbecile psychopaths. That's why when these good old boys fight, you can trust that they want to kill. They're the best killers to be behind. Because even though they tried to show Old Dog, like Old Dog said, I don't give a fuck who's out there. I'm going to kill everybody. And that's what these imbecile psychopaths is like. I was watching The Watchmen and the Joker character, he didn't give a fuck. When the Joker character went out there, even though it was against the Geneva Convention, if you watch the cartoon, this motherfucker is flame throwing people in Vietnam. When technically they were supposed to be illegal by that point, but he's flame throwing people. He kills a pregnant woman and don't think shit about it. Pregnant by his baby. He, imbecile psychopath. So life is a trip, y'all. It's a trip. And you just have to work on yourself. You just have to work on you and what you care about. Not what everybody else cares about. Work on you and what you care about. Be true to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. We all got flaws. We all got weaknesses. Know your flaws. Know your weaknesses. What did he say? Know thyself. And that's real. Know yourself. Because some people will go their whole life lying about shit. It's like lying to themselves. Ignoring what the obvious is. But instead they'll ignore it and lie about it, and lie to themselves about it. And what's funny about lying is it'll be people that tell the same lie for 50 years. And after 50 years, it's no longer a lie to them. It's part of their story. And you can tell, like I know one cat that lies so much, and it's like listening to the cat, and I'm like, I was around then, and you didn't do any of that then when I was around. So when was you doing that? You couldn't have did it the way you just said it because I was around and you wasn't doing none of that. But now 50 years later, you just tell the story to people that don't know you. And you've lied about it so long that, it becomes your story. Who knows? There ain't very many people around that would know. But is that how you want to live your life? Like it sounds like, when people are unfulfilled, they want it to be this, they want it to be that. But for some reason, they got success despite of that. But yet, the one thing they wanted, they didn't get. And so they had to lie about it to feel fulfilled. And that's sad. That's sad. And some of them copy stories of what happened to other people and try to tell it as their story. And that becomes it becomes sad to hear and watch when you see successful people and then they gotta lie about shit. It's like, why you lying? Oh, Blue Marvel, what's happening? How you been? How you been? Hope you been good. So, know yourself and be honest with yourself. Be honest of how you feel about all things. You know, I always talk about, you know, when you get attachments and attachments start giving you ideas and shit, know if your thoughts are yours or did you do something where you picked up an attachment. And, you know, Papa Light, pedal light, Papa Light, this kind of shit to get that shit off you. Because they're scrubbers. See, I got more scrubbers around here. Papa Light. Kunzanite. See if I can get the pink in there. This kind of shit removes stuff off you. Truth is a real soul food indeed. But see, what happens is people die. And so, you know, there's no one else to say, hey, that story ain't true. I was around. Because most of the time you ain't around people that knew you then. But that's sad, you know, it's sad that people got to live that way. It's sad to see my son been in here fucking with my equipment. So he pushes it all up. But I got all this stuff right here, all my good stuff. So, well, guys, that's all I had. I ain't really have a lot. Hope I was positive enough. Hope I was positive enough, because that's what I try to do, is be positive enough to, you know, try to hit a little bit of everything, because the world ain't just one way. And it's just constantly adapting. It's like a shock absorber, you know, you gotta, you know, take more shock when you go over a bumpy road. So, you know, you take a little hit, but then it levels back off. You take a little hit and it levels back off. And that's life. That's the ebb or flow of life. And the stock market tries to show you that, you know, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. It's the ebbs and flows. And so that's how life is. You just hopefully you can maintain balance. You know, you can maintain a balance and say, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm always going to be at. So it's a way to tackle it. Saying, okay, you know, and it's like we always want so much more. It's like, you know, I got all these fucking tennis shoes. Why? You know, got caught up in, I guess, collecting, you know, silly collecting in a way. But I got caught up into it. And now I got about 30, 40 pair of tennis shoes. And probably what's behind me, boots. And then there's boots under my daughter's room, 4 or 5 boxes of boots. And then my daughter's room, there's more boots that I got to get out. So that is, you know, what is it all for? And I got so many baseball hats. That's why I ain't buying any more baseball hats. I'm only buying, you know, dress hats or whatever you want to call these. I'm only buying these kind of hats this winter. These are Kangos. That's it. No more baseball hats until maybe spring. I don't even know then. I got a fucking enough baseball hats, which I do like collecting, you know, but I don't need them. I don't need them. So, but I like having different colors of these. This is starting to be one of my favorite. I wore it all day on Thanksgiving. So it's like, yeah, I kind of like this one. It fits a little nicer than the other ones. So, well, I'm going to call it, y'all. Thank you for coming. I appreciate all the people that come. Whoever commented, I appreciate that. And we'll be back Sunday. I don't know. Maybe if I feel the urge, I might come back another day before then. I don't know. But if you see me and you do get the alert, come check your boy out. This is Big Pontiac, the Time Lord, the Time Walker.